December 1793. 8 monks left on a journey from Orthodox Monastery near St. Petersburg, Russia. Traveling for 293 days, they eventually arrived in Kodiak, Alaska. Among them, the humble Father Herman, who helped establish the Orthodox mission in September 1794.
The original monastic community was sent on its way by Metropolitan Gabriel of St. Petersburg, who presented the monastic community with its antimins to establish this mission on Kodiak Island. Kodiak Island was chosen because it was the main island for the government.
Through zealous missionary efforts, the faith spread to California. Later, the diocesan headquarters of the Aleutians in Alaska was moved to San Francisco. During the late 1800s, the number of immigrants from Europe, especially from the Austro-Hungary and Ottoman empires, arrived in America. With the influx of Orthodox people, the Orthodox Church needed to address the issue of expansion.
They are descendants of immigrants from the peripheral areas, not part of the Russian Empire, but part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, families from Galicia, which was a province, which is now in present-day southeastern Poland, in the Uhorshchina region of Czechoslovakia and the Slovakia Republic, present day, and also provinces such as Bukovina, Lemkavina, and parts of the Ukraine. The largest number of Russians came from a province called Volhynia, which is between Belarus and the Ukraine.
The Holy Synod of the Church in Russia appointed auxiliary bishop of the Diocese of Qom, Bishop Tikhon, to his new assignment in America. He arrived in New York City, December 1898, and traveled to the cathedral in San Francisco. The American diocese encompassed the entire continent and had a multinational flock. It was comprised of Russians, Syrians, Greeks, Aleuts, Serbians, Carpatho-Russians, and Galicians. Understanding that the North American mission was not a permanent extension of the Church of Russia, but was to become a local church in America, Bishop Tikhon realized that the creation of seminaries and monasteries was essential to firmly establish the church in America and help it become self-sufficient.
Well, he wanted to establish a monastery. That was his main goal, because he said a church without a monastery could not be a church. I mean, you could not develop a church without a monastery. And the weight, the importance, the importance of a national church is only as good as its monastic communities. Basically, that's an excerpt from one of his famous speeches that he gave.
The Russian Orthodox Church knew that they need a monastery. And Father Kapanadze, I believe, on Lake Erie, if Cleveland's on Lake Erie, and there was an island there, that's an amusement park. It was for sale. And they were going to buy that and have like a Lake Ladoga library, like northern Russia where St. Herman came from, one of these islands like Valamo, and it was going to be in Lake Erie. And they were going to send monks. But the odd thing is, when they would land in New York, those future monks, they would stop them here. They needed them for parishes. They needed them in Canada. And, we weren't too inclined as the metropolia at the time to think about monastic communities.
In Minneapolis, Minnesota, a missionary school was established and later became a seminary. Father Andrew Chahovtsev, a graduate of the Kharkov Seminary, served as a priest for 13 years. When his young wife died, he became a monk, taking the name Arseny, and became abbot of the Kuryansk Monastery. Upon his arrival in the United States, he served several parishes, including St. John the Baptist in Mayfield, Pennsylvania. But his dream was to establish a monastery in America. Through his writings for the Russian-American Messenger, the seeds were planted for the realization of that dream. In May 1905, during the 6th Annual Russian Orthodox Catholic Mutual Aid Society Convention, Father Arseny proposed the idea for both a monastery and an orphanage. With the support and sanction of Bishop Tikhon, the energetic monk Arseny was appointed chairman of a commission to investigate the feasibility of his idea. A few weeks later, newly elevated Archbishop Tikhon came to Mayfield to inspect the proposed site in the village of South Canaan in nearby Wayne County, Pennsylvania. He was impressed by the beauty of the area and gave his personal support and blessing to establish an Orthodox center. Several Galician farmers in the area raised $700, enabling the purchase of what was known as the Wagner Farm for $2,580 in June 1905. It included all the livestock and primitive farming equipment, all operated manually. A few weeks later, Bishop Raphael of Brooklyn, New York arrived in Mayfield and was greeted by Father Arseny and thousands of parishioners. Raphael was from Damascus, Syria, and was the first Orthodox bishop consecrated in America. In his sermons, he spoke of Bishop Tikhon's mission. He has been sent here to tend the flock of Christ, Russian, Slavs, Serbs, Syro-Arab, and Greek,